Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at Robinhood Markets. It is time for another update. And in the case of this stock, we have finally broken the levels of resistance that would have actually allowed it to form an initial 5-way move to the downside, which would have actually suggested, would have implied even further downside after an internal correction. Well, that is no more, as the levels of resistance have actually been broken. But this is not an automatic signal that a bottom is in. It is a possibility, there is an opportunity here, and that is why I'm actually recording this video. But even now, it is actually quite fragile, and it has to hold very internal levels of support to even trust it to build a somewhat reliable pattern to the upside, because the possibility of a reset in this yellow wave 4 is very much alive. Now, with that said, I believe the bottom could be in, but we still need to be extremely careful with this stock, as we only have the possibility to reliably track a leading diagonal in this structure, meaning that I can only reliably expect to build 3 waves up within this wave 5. And technically, there would be the possibility to build something more bullish. There would still be the possibility to build an impulse in the case of this stock. But it's not a pattern that I actually trust, because it has already failed to build this as a wave 3 to the upside, which would have allowed me to look for a continuation to higher prices in a series of 4 or 5 patterns. It simply hasn't done enough, and for it to now build this as a series of 1-2 setups, well, frankly, I find it extremely unlikely, and it would imply that the price could be looking for, who knows, maybe even a 20x. I can actually show what a ridiculous ideal target we would have to look at in the case of only this as an internal wave 3 to the upside, that is $600. Well, if it were to build that, it would also imply to follow up afterwards, even if it stops there, a series of 4 or 5 patterns, which would actually lead to even surpassing that level. And so to injury, the move up in the smaller time frame is actually not the most reliable one for actually building an impulse. No, we are looking at what seems to be a rather weak structure within the smaller time frame, where technically I could actually be looking to build a series of 1-2 setups, but it's not going to be a very likely structure in my opinion. We do also have to keep in mind that this could be just a wave A, and it could be forming a top sooner than you may typically expect, as we are actually very close to all-time high levels. Now, in the case of this structure, you could be looking for an opportunity in a couple of ways. You could be looking at a more hands-off position, where as long as the momentum is up, as long as we continue to form higher lows, we can actually keep our position. However, if the price breaks below the previous swing low, well, it would be a very, very strong indication that we would likely be looking for the wave 4 reset, and it's not a must. But the reliability, the integrity of the move up would be heavily questionable. It would not be reliable in my opinion. And if you actually want to get out as soon as possible from this structure, we can actually track that within a very small time frame, at the very least until it builds this wave up, because I do not believe that one is complete, and I do believe that it could be looking to form a more substantial top only around $117, $120, maybe $124. So, in this wave A in yellow, I could be looking for this to build something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 within the area of a leading diagonal. To be clear, this is not the only possibility. In fact, I believe it quite possible, maybe even more likely than this, to build only 3 waves up within the wave A. In such a structure, I would be looking to actually follow through within the same development in this specific move up from the 9th of June. In this structure, if I go into the smaller time frame, I expect within both the wave 3 in white and the wave C in blue to build an internal wave C, meaning that in both of these structures, I am looking to follow through within a 5-wave pattern. So, in this development, I would actually likely have to prefer an ending diagonal. It is a wave C in both of them, it is a 5-wave pattern in both of them, and within it, I am tracking an ABC pattern within this yellow wave tree. Well, in the case of the wave C, I would actually prefer strongly to get one additional high, as I only have 3 waves up, and what do we know about the wave C? It is a 5-wave pattern. So the first level of support that this structure must actually hold is down to $103, where if we get a sustained break below the 50% retracement, it is a rather strong indication that this structure is going to see a failure, that it is quite possibly going to form an entire reset of the wave 4 based on this alone. Now, personally, I do find it likely that it will succeed in building this overall internal wave C to the upside, and who knows, maybe this as a wave B has actually bottomed here. It is possible that this as an internal wave 3 would have actually already topped, in which case, if you really want to allow an even deeper retracement, the wave 4, the larger wave 4 area of support we would have as part of the wave C itself would extend down to $94.60. If we get the sustained break even below that, well, it is actually going to be quite difficult to find any trust for this stock, at least within this movement to the upside, and that would be my second degree confirmation already that this structure isn't going to succeed in forming the next highs. It isn't going to succeed in building this move to the upside, and I would have to even consider something like a WXY correction. I honestly do not even really care about stocks that fail to build such bare minimums. Honestly, I prefer stocks that offer much better structures than this one, and this stock would most likely not be getting past my filters in terms of the stocks that I choose to own, that I choose to trade. And for now, we will stop here. If you want even more from me, you can check out the Patreon. Link is in the description, but these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.